Hi, I am Brittany Hall. I work at Yukon Extension in the Solid Ground program, and we are at Northwest Corner Farm, and I'm talking to Holly and Steven about their wash station. But before we do that, can you just tell me a bit about your farm, what you produce, and where people can find your products?
Sure. This is we're in Winchester, Connecticut, as you said, and this is our first season actually. Okay. So as we are trying to have a season, we are also building out all the infrastructure, including the wash station. So it's been quite a hectic last few months. But what we plan to do this season is we'll have 60 varieties of 30 vegetables. Okay. We'll have about 25 varieties of flowers, 10 or 12 varieties of herbs, and then a few other items. We already did a season of maple syrup. Oh, nice. And we'll have cultivated shiitakes, cultivated oyster mushrooms. Quite a kind of lineup for season one. Yeah, seriously. And where can people find your products? We are doing this year we're doing a CSA for 25 members. Okay. We've just started selling to a few local partners, Rooted Market in Winstead. We sell to a couple of restaurants, Geppetto and Torrington, and we've also been distributing through the Northwest Food Hub.
And so can people find you online? Do you have a...
Sure, we're all over social media. Northwest Corner Farm. Okay. We are on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter at NW Corner Farm, which tends to be more of our advocacy voice. Yeah. And we have a shingle website that says coming soon.
Can you tell me about your wash station you have here? I know it's pretty new. You've just finished building it. What were the plans that went into this? Did you know how big you wanted it, what you were looking for?
Yeah, roughly based on prior experience, knowing how big it should be. But for me, it's all about flow and efficiency. So intake pointing towards the field, outflow going towards our refrigeration. That was really the primary, thinking about what pieces individually. Luckily, we had a farmer acquaintance who was able to sell us that table. That was nice. So it's a sink. We're going to use it as a table this year. But just the efficiency of it, and being only two of us this year, it's not going to be that crowded, but it still needs to flow. So
yeah, definitely. So what were some of the important features that you wanted to be sure to include? I know you've got the big tubs. Is it for greens or dunking? What do you use it for?
The spinner for spinning greens, big bulk spins of greens, and then just stainless steel for sanitizing, scrubbing and sanitizing, just to be really clean, which is tough in an open air setup, but it's best we can keep it sanitized and make sure that the food that we're giving is safe.
So I know you used the stainless steel, and so your tubs are you using mostly, are you harvesting into the plastic tubs generally?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
When you were coming up with the design, did you use any guide or anything, or was just kind of previous knowledge?
Just previous experience.
Okay.
And this might all change again too. Like we said, we've got the barn coming up, so whether it's inside or adjacent to behind it, we'll play with the flow again and the design then.
And your green spinner, did you use one of the, I know there's a lot of resources online, did you use one of them?
Yeah, the UVM guide, they have 3 different models, and I just picked the first one on their list. It was the Whirlpool, whatever model it is, I don't remember. And it was actually a really fun project. Okay. It was a lot of fun.
It wasn't too hard? Did you feel like you needed special skills, or
No, I think anyone who has a basic set of tools, and just a little bit of tool knowledge can do it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So.
Do you have an idea of the approximate cost of building everything here?
It was roughly about $2,000. The tents aside, probably going to be a lot more expensive to get something a little bit more suited to what we need. These aren't big enough, so.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask, are there any surprises? So with these tents you thought would work, and they're not actually going to work for what you're doing?
They're just way too small. I mean, we have a big post in the middle of our way here. Yeah. It's just not going to work.
Okay. And so what's your plan to kind of remedy that?
We're looking at used catering tents. Like the 20 by 20 would be ideal, I think, for our size. But if we can't find something, then we'll build something.
Definitely. How long, and was it just you building this, or was it you two that put it together?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of both did it. I spent a day on this, and then everything else, as we got the parts and pieces, we just kind of slapped it together.
Yeah, so it didn't take too long?
No, it didn't take long at all.
Cool.
I think it'll take longer when we have the barn, to figure out where things go. That's more permanent. So.
Yeah. And so I know it's your first season using your wash station, but what are the different ways you've used it so far? I know you've got greens coming in, and how do you expect that to change with the season?
It's just been greens and then some Asian greens. We did the Tokyo Bacana the other day, and it was nice to have a place to wash and not just have to hold everything one at a time. I don't expect it to change much. I think we both have experience using a wash station similar, so we're just going to go at it, and it's going to work.
Cool.
in the future there will be roots, in which case we're going to give them a dunk and then a rinse.
Yeah.
But it's all the same process.
Yeah. So what did you do before you had this all set up? Was there any special things you had to do?
Yeah, our first Salanova greens came in before we had this set up. So I washed them in a sink that I sanitized and spun them with a small kitchen salad
Oh my
spinner.
God.
It was arugula too.
Oh, arugula.
It was 7 pounds of arugula.
And you know, you really cannot fit that much in there.
It's a handful at a time, literally.
Okay, so this is much more efficient because I'm sure that took you a very long time to do.
Several hours.
That was the day I was building this.
Was there anything that didn't go as expected when you were putting this together, or that you would try to avoid doing in the future?
The only thing that was kind of a surprise was following the plans, the model of washing machine we had to use was different than the model. It was one model up.
Okay.
So it sounds like they're phasing out this particular model that they have in the guide. So we had to get the next model. And one step, there's a special tool you have to remove the drum. Outside of that, there was really no surprises.
Okay.
Yeah, that took a couple days to get. We found one on Amazon, a special wrench.
Of course.
Yeah.
Since you're out in the open, how have you avoided mud? I know you've got this gravel that you just put down recently, but how were you avoiding it, or were you just had a bunch of mud before?
Yeah, before the gravel, we just had a lot of mud.
Yeah.
I mean, Jamie can tell you, it sucks to work in puddles of water, especially if you don't have muck boots on. So.
Yeah.
We did drain everything outward so that it was going away from our feet, but it still obstructs. You're passing through the farm.
Yeah.
There's water everywhere.
And you're spraying things down, everything just gets soaking wet, and the gravel helps. We had, for the amount, we said we wanted 6 inches, and I don't think we spread it quite as much as we had it intended, so it's a little thicker, which is nicer because that water just sinks down and keeps away from us, so we're working dry.
Is it keeping, does this area get muddy still, or
no,
is
it seems to
doing a pretty good
disperse
job?
kind of evenly, and it's not soaking up.
That's awesome.
Causing puddles anywhere. So
I know you said crops come in from the field and then go out. So where are they going out to?
For this season, they're going to exit that side of the wash station and go to the garage at the old farmhouse. Inside the garage right now, we're using 2 standing, just regular refrigerators, quite large, that we got from a farmer friend down the road. And sometime in the coming weeks, we're going to have a walk-in cooler. Thinking about an 8x8 setup, so it'll be in the same location for this year. Of course, next year with the barn here, we intend for that to come down. And so that'll be wash station, cool bot, right with each other, right next to each other. So that will be a little bit of a time saver this year. Of course, I think as one thing gets harvested and processed, it goes right to the fridge before something else gets started. Just because we don't want it sitting out for a long time.
So what are the future plans for the wash station? Kind of what do you imagine it looking like?
It's going to be, as we've said, either inside the barn or adjacent to on the north side of the barn. So it'd be maybe an overhang, 3-sided.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's inside, that'd be ideal because then we're out of the elements, out of the weather. I think Jamie would really appreciate that, especially on the shoulder seasons when it's cold. Setup, I haven't really thought about what it would look like inside. If it was, on the back side of the barn, I think it'd be similar to this. Maybe, I don't know, a little thinner because I don't know how big we'd have the overhang, but it's all, it's all up in the air. We don't really know. So I guess when we get closer to that point, we'll start thinking about it again and go through this process again.
But you'll reuse all of these materials?
Yes, everything will be reused. I mean, everything that we have now, we intend to use, in our final iteration of our wash station. So.
Do you have any advice for other farmers who are trying to set up their first wash station, and they're just totally overwhelmed by what they're going to have to do?
Just talk to other farmers if you can find some, or go to a social group or anywhere where someone's got something and just talk and get ideas. And, it's not just what you think initially. You can get lots of cool ideas from other people. So.
Think about efficiency and how to streamline your processes so food comes in and goes out clean without bouncing all over the place.